Boa noite a quem está aqui, boa noite a quem está chegando. Temos aqui a honra de estar aqui junto conosco, no nosso canal, nada menos, nada mais, Mr. David Shankle. Fez um álbum sensacional, Trials of Steel, e vai falar um pouco da carreira dele no Manowar, vai falar da carreira dele de tudo, e a gente espera que ele esteja no Brasil esse ano com a gente, numa turnê. É muito bom ver o David ao vivo, performático demais, né? Headbanger na essência, que a gente vê ele no palco, o amor que ele tem à música, né? O amor é sensacional. Transmita isso e, por favor, manda ele falar a boa noite dele.
Okay. So we have here David Shankle, the legend himself. David, we thank you, first of all, to be here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad that I finally made it. I want to apologize to all of you for the last time on June 5th. We had some technical difficulties with the new MacBook Pro, and we finally got it all worked out, and happy to be here. And thank you to their fans, my fans, for being patient and here to do this wonderful interview and answer questions the best that I can. And again, thanks for having me, guys.
Bom, ele agradeceu pela presença, né? Nossa presença também, e agradeceu pela oportunidade de estar aqui com a gente. Pediu desculpas pela última vez, e a gente teve alguns problemas técnicos. Ele tentou com o MacBook, tentou com o iPhone, tentou com tudo que ele tinha em casa, mas o link do StreamYard não funcionou da outra vez. E é isso. O que importa é que a gente conseguiu remarcar essa data e estamos aqui hoje com o cara em pessoa. E vamos dar início, né, nessa entrevista. Vamos lá, Edu.
Vamos lá. O David está no heavy metal há muitos anos. Eu acho que eu sou até mais velho que o David. Isso é de praxe, né? Falar um pouco como foi o primeiro contato com a música, né? As primeiras influências dentro do metal e fora do metal que fizeram com que ele tivesse essa paixão por tocar a guitarra.
So, David, talk about your first contact with music, also about your first influences in metal, your first influences in music in general, and which bands inspired you to start playing and be what you are today?
Okay, that's a good question. I've had that a lot throughout my career. I think the first thing that inspired me in music was my father, God rest his soul. My dad was a guitar player. He was a music teacher. You know, we had three boys, my two older brothers, Paul and Ronnie. Ronnie was a singer. My brother Paul, the middle, he was an army guy. He was like Rambo. And my dad was a great guitar picker, and he played and toured around with Roy Clark and had appeared on the Hee Haw show way back in the day with Roy Clark a few times. And he first put the guitar in my hand when I was like 8 years old. And I played it for about a week and said, this isn't for me. And I wanted to, ride motorcycles, chase girls, even at 8 years old. And I kept watching my dad play, and as I was getting older and listening to bands like Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and I was growing up younger, I was about 12 years old, and my dad said to me and my mom, what would you like for Christmas? Would you like a guitar or would you like a motorcycle? And I thought I wanted to be Evel Knievel, and my mom said, get him the guitar, he'll live longer. And once my dad put that guitar in my hands again at 12 years old, everything changed. I was influenced by a lot of different styles at a young age because I was 12 years old, and my father got me started in reading music, understanding music and notes and timing. But after my father as an influence, he also exposed me to classical guitar for Andre Segovia, Christopher Parkening, Chet Atkins, Roy Clark, Merle Travis, all these finger style guys. and I was just in awe of them. But as I started turning into 14, 15, 16 years old, I was already realizing I could play guitar. A guy named Howard Anderson, that was a local guy, a good friend of mine, was a really good rock player, saw something in me, and he kind of was giving me some lessons and kind of opened up the door for me when I was like, 12, 13, 14, and we ended up being in a band together. And then, things changed and I moved on, got older. By the time I was 16, 17, I was already hip to all the Paul Gilbert, Jason Becker, Marty Friedman stuff. And different times in my life, I like different guitar players. Like I said, when I was young, Roy Clark, Al Di Meola was a huge influence on me. I mean, I was into the Van Halen thing, the legendary Eddie, God rest his soul, but I loved Steve Vai when I was hearing him at 16, 17 years old. And when I heard Al Di Meola for the first time, when Howard turned me on to him, he held up this album called Elegant Gypsy. And this looked like this Italian guy in a suit and a tie with a black Les Paul and some gypsy lady behind him. And I said, who is this bum? What is this guy? He doesn't even look like he shreds. Well, I went and put that record on, and I shut my mouth and said, oh, forgive me. And that changed my life in playing and getting into fusion and progressive music when I was brought up in Michael Schenker, Uli John Roth, who's a good friend of mine, Steve Vai, the Van Halens, the Paul Gilberts, Jason Beckers, Friedmans. I was into that stuff. Me, Michelangelo Badio, we're all friends. We played on each other's records. And I met other guys as we moved along, and these were guys, when I started getting into 18, 19, 20 years old, I already knew what I had and was playing, but I always respected and looked back at these guys that were like influences on me in my earlier years, And then I started going to college, studying classical guitar before even my Manowar days. And then I started getting into, Alan Holdsworth, Frank and Baldy, a whole different level of guitar playing, in fusion. And I just started to grow, and we all, learn from different guys and just kind of, you take bits and pieces from other guys and try and turn it all into your own style. And that's, what I always did. And, I admire all the guys I grew up on. And I believe I know I have my own style, but I never forget the people that I like that I could say till the day I die. I loved this guy. He was an influence on me back in my day. I like this guy during that time. We all have them. Anybody that says they don't is full of shit. So there's my answer, my long answer to that question.
That's okay. I'm writing everything you say here, and now I'll be the...
some of these questions, there's a long answer to it because
no problem. No problem.
When you climb the top of one mountain in your guitar skills, and you're like, okay, you got there. That's not it. That's the bottom of the next mountain you have to climb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just keep going up and going up to this day, and that's how I've always looked at it. I like who I like. There's guys, are not my favorite players, but there's people that love me, like me, people that don't like what I do. I don't give a shit. It's okay. There's a saying that me and Joey came up with when I was in Manowar that we always used to say, and I say it to this day to anybody watching this, and use it for yourself. If you've never seen me in my band, whether it's Manowar those days, DSG, Wings of Destiny, Kings of the New Kingdom, Fëanor, and Grave Rain, come on out, see the band. Go check out our videos. If you like us, bring a friend. If you don't like us, don't come again. I don't fucking care. There's a plenty of people that will come see the band. And when I tour overseas, you can't make everybody happy, whatever. So there you go. Right.
So I'll make a short translation here with the most important things you said. So, ele disse que começou a tocar com 12 anos de idade, Ele contou a história da mãe dele. Quando ele fez o aniversário de 12 anos, né? Ele ficou entre receber de presente uma motocicleta ou uma guitarra. Aí a mãe dele entrou na conversa e disse, não, dê uma guitarra de presente porque ele vai viver mais e não vai sofrer nenhum acidente. Então ele começou a tocar aos 12 anos, o pai deu de presente essa guitarra para ele. E lá no início ele ouvia muito violão clássico, né? Ouvia Ray Clark, ouvia o Led Zeppelin, que eram as bandas de maior influência nessa época de adolescência dele. Depois, aos 16 anos, ele começou a ouvir o Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, Marty Friedman, que foram as primeiras influências para tocar da forma shredding, né, que a gente chama, aqueles solos mais rápidos, mais trabalhados. E também ele fez muitas amizades durante esse início de carreira, né, que foram o Michael Schenker, o Legion Root, lá do Scorpions, que são lendas até hoje, né? E, claro, o Michel Angel de Bate, que hoje é o guitarrista do Manowar, né, titular, é um grande amigo dele, e eles trabalham juntos.
Aldeia Miola, só tem monstro aí, meu irmão.
Sim.
Jason Becker.
Jason Becker, grande Jason Becker.
Ele falou do Rainbow também, né? Ele se sente influenciado pelo Rich Black.
E também falou do Michel Angel de Bate, né, que é o atual guitarrista do Manowar, legendário também. E ele disse que eles estão sempre em parceria, né? Um grava coisas para as músicas.
O Michael Angelo sempre foi muito rápido, tudo sempre foi.
Duas guitarras.
Sempre foi desde o início. Só deixa eu dar uma boa noite para todo mundo aqui, só um minutinho.
Vamos lá.
Boa noite, André Luiz, Marcelo Santos, Neto Moraes, Eternal House of Metal, Shredded, True Brothers of Metal, Phil, com certeza, Simon, Great Brother, Blast from the Past, Shredded to Death, André Luiz, Jailson, Hey Brothers of Metal and Doom, Machine Guns, aí é o Arthur, grande Arthur, Greatest from Ireland, Metal Brothers. Aqui não tá no script, aqui é uma pergunta a minha. Em 1992, o Manowar lançou o Trials of Show. Ele substituiu o Hot the Boss, na minha cabeça, né? O Manowar vinha de uma sequência de discos, né? Os primeiros discos, né? O Hate England,
Battle Rings, Hate England,
Side of the Hammer, o que mais? Esqueci.
Fight in the World.
E aí o David entrou. E a primeira vez que eu ouvi o Manowar, o Trials of Steel, os caras falaram, é um guitarrista novo. Eu falei, caralho, o cara passou de Steel House the Boys, porra, deve ser foda. E a primeira vez que eu ouvi, eu disse, tá completamente diferente. Tava mais pesado, mais cadenciado, em outra linha. Continuando sendo épico, né? Bem épico. Abordando sempre os temas, né? Odin, essas coisas. E ele não se intimidou. Ele chegou lá e largou o verbo e teve a felicidade também. E a banda deixou ele criar, porque ele criou também. Trials of Steel. Aquiles, a música dele. Entendeu? Como é que ele se sentiu nisso? Isso é uma pergunta minha.
Tá bom. So this is a question outside of the ones that you have. This is a personal question from Eduardo. And he said that the first time he listened to the Triumph of Steel, he was like, oh my God, this new guy will be playing in the place that was from Ross. I don't know what to expect. And when he listened to it, he was, this is heavier than before. And he was like, I don't know what is happening, but I love this. This is so good. This is so heavy. And how was this to get to a band like Manowar at the first time and let your side there to create a song like Achilles that is a Saint Grail of the Manowar song?
The story of the battle with Hector, yes, yeah, Achilles.
That is perfect. A 27-minute song.
Troy.
And how was this to just came to a band like Manowar and to make history? How was it?
Well, I have been answering that question for over 30-something years.
Yeah.
And to try and make that long story short, I had met Ross when they were touring and doing the club scene in Chicago on Fighting the World. And Ross and I had become friends. Then they were gone for a few years. And at that time, I was playing in the club scene, won a few guitar competitions, and was in a band called Vengeance at the time. And we were playing the Thirsty Whale Club, which is no longer there, one of the most popular clubs at the time. And a friend of mine was there, a girl named Mary Beth, and she came backstage and said, just so you know, Eric Scott Columbus, God rest his soul, and Joey are here and would love to talk to you from Manowar. And a good friend of mine, Randy Kurtz, who had worked with them, said, yeah, man, these guys been wanting to talk to you. So I came out from backstage and met them and talked to them, and they're like, hey, how you doing? Really cool guys, shook hands. First time I really met Manowar, hanging out. Hey, we heard all about you and we're playing and we came to check you out. We're looking for a new guitar player. And I'm like, oh, wow, hey, that's cool. So no pressure, right? Yeah, no pressure. So I was playing 2 nights and I got up there and we played and I, did my songs, did my guitar solo, everything. They came out the second night I was playing. Eric was standing on the side of the stage, behind the monitor board, watching me, giving me the thumbs up. And to make a long story short, Joey and I exchanged numbers and they were staying downtown at the Canterbury Court because they were mixing Kings of Metal at that time. It was pretty much done recorded. They were in town mixing. Ross wasn't. And I didn't know at the time until Joey and I started talking a few days after that. He's like, hey, I want you to come down and hang out with me at Universal Studios. So I started going down there, hanging out after work, checking, grooving with him, going to the clubs, introducing him to girls I know, all that crazy fun stuff, man. And we started to become really good friends. And we were hitting it off at Brothers. And one day I was at my folks' house and he called me up and he said, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and I want you to write this down. I said, okay. It was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, like on a Sunday. And he goes, that which does not kill you or kill me only makes you stronger. And he goes, welcome, brother. You beat out about 300 guitar players. You're the new guy, the new king of shred in Manowar, and I'm going to call you the death dealer because you play over the neck like this scale stuff, like you do faster than most people play regularly. And I was like, are you friggin' kidding me? From that moment on, it changed my life. I sold my Trans Am. We had a party and had the whole band come out and, and I left and went to New York and started rehearsing with them. And, just to clear the air, I brought up earlier Michelangelo Badio. He and I have been friends for a long time. He invented the two neck thing like this. But, and he does over the neck stuff too. But I was playing over the neck long before I ever knew him, before we ever met anybody, because my father turned me on to Danny Gatton. That's a hot country picker that played guitar, hot country licks, with a shower towel over the guitar and was playing over the neck like this. That's the first time I ever saw anybody play over the neck. No disrespect to Michael, but we became friends. A lot of people always put he and I together, but that was never what it was with me and him. I respect him, what he's done. He respects me. And I played on his album Hands Without a Shadow too, and he played on my Hellborn record with Joe Stump, T.D. Clark, instrumental Shred Fest, The Voyage, and he played on The Hitman on the Still a Warrior CD, again with T.D., Michelangelo Badio, Joe Stump, Parker Lundgren, that was in Queensryche, Roger Staubach, and several other great guitar players. So there was never no competition thing. We were always neck and neck playing, and friends. And, now he's in Manowar now. Good luck. Let's see how that goes, how long you think that'll last, and if you'll get a gold or platinum CD out of it like I co-wrote The Triumph of Steel. And there's a reason why that record is still to this day one of the best-selling Manowar records to date that went gold and double platinum. And I'm proud of that, and I'll wear it on my shoulder, and nobody can knock that off. And I've gone on and did many things after that with my DSG bands and many other projects we could talk about.
Oh.
But it was a wonderful joy. You know, I got to tour around the world, saw many wonderful things. You know, Joey's, you know, a smart guy, really intelligent, is taking care of that band and kept them alive when the band wasn't so big in America. But he doesn't care. He doesn't have to. He's done very well in Europe, and I was very proud to be a part of that band during my time. And Ross and I have been friends since day one. And when he was out of the band, those reins were handed over to me. But I didn't fill anybody's shoes, brother. Every band I've always gone to, I bring my own shoes, my own style, my own plan, and I proved it on Triumph of Steel. And some of the best stuff I played was never even on that record, because when I left after 6 years, you go listen to Triumph of Steel. Joey and I wrote great music on it to all the fans. But you go put on Ashes to Ashes and you go listen to that track, see the video. Go listen to Daydreams. Go listen to Etude, and you really see what Dave Shankle could do and write as a composer after the Triumph of Steel. And every DSG record and every album I've done after that cemented me as a super shredder in the world with all the other great players out there that I like and admire too. And I stand by that. So there you go.
Oh, that's good. That's so nice, man. Thank you.
And I love the fans. More than anything, I will say this. I don't care what band you are. Manowar to this day has got the strongest fans in the world. They are the best. They will go. You can take 20 fans of a band here in America, and one of them in Europe will crush those 20 fans. They are that strong and true and powerful. And I have loved every fan from my Manowar days that have followed me to all my bands. And I thank you and respect you for that. For keeping your eye on me and following me through my career, because you don't get any better than Manowar fans. No way, hands down.
Thank you, David. Vamos tentar traduzir. Bom, ele tentou resumir uma longa história, né, do início de carreira com o Manowar. Então, assim, o Manowar estava em turnê, eles estavam tocando, e o David, por acaso, já era amigo do Ross. Então, não foi uma questão de substituição, ele já conhecia o Ross, já eram amigos. E a partir dessa amizade, ele conheceu o Joey, eles trocaram telefones, né, em uma certa noite, começaram a conversar e tal. O Joey assistiu ele tocando. Eu acho que a banda que ele tocava na época era Vengeance. Am I right, David? The band that you played? Vengeance. Yeah. Vengeance, yeah. Ele tocava na banda Vengeance na época. E aí ele começou a conversar com o Joey, né? O Joey de Maio. Fizeram amizade, trocaram o telefone. E um certo dia ele recebeu uma ligação do Joey dizendo que ele tinha sido aprovado e seria o novo guitarrista do Manowar. E eles tinham feito teste com mais de 300 músicos e ele tinha sido escolhido. Então ele pensou que era uma brincadeira na época, né? Então foi assim a entrada dele na banda. E ele contou um pouco, né, do início de carreira, que quando ele estava nessa ocasião que conheceu o Joey, eles estavam terminando a mixagem do Kings of Metal. Então, finalizando Kings of Metal, e foi o álbum antecessor ao Triumph of Steel, e a partir daí eles começaram os trabalhos com o Triumph of Steel, que teve toda essa identidade do David, né? Você pode comparar com todos os anteriores que tiveram o Ross, são bem diferentes do Triumph of Steel, que era
foi naquele
é o álbum mais diferente, né? Você vê que os que vieram depois também, com outro guitarrista que eu não vou falar o nome por questões polêmicas. Então, o David tem toda essa característica dele, né? Então, eu acho que eu resumi bem também, o resumo do resumo dele.
Essa seria, na verdade, a segunda pergunta. Eu incorporei tudo, né?
Incorporou, mas tá valendo.
Tá de boa. Agora aqui, vamos seguir, né? Fale um pouco do trabalho com o DSG, né? O David Shankle Group.
Pronto. So then, for now, we want you to talk about your work with the DSG.
Well, after I was getting out of Manowar, and just so everybody knows, Joey and I and Eric, we all stayed friends because after I got out of Manowar, I went back to college at COD and studied classical guitar, took my credits from there, transferred them to Roosevelt University, one of the top 10 music schools, colleges in the country at the time. And I graduated there with my bachelor's of music, in jazz, classical guitar, music theory, etc. And it was time for me then to do my own thing after Manowar, have my own record with my own name, because there was other guitar players that were doing it that are friends of mine, like Christian Pilatera and stuff like that. If they can do it, why can't I? And I could back it. So Joey and I were friends, and when I was putting the first demos together, I was Joey wanted me to turn them on with him, because when I was out of the band, we still had a contract with each other that we could work with each other, because there was no bad blood when we left. Some things we just keep to each other. And he was hearing the music, digging it, and we put Ashes to Ashes together, my debut CD, with Tracy Barr on vocals, Eddie Foltz on drums, Brian Gordon on bass, Shreddy Eddie on keyboards. And Joe loved it. I loved it. Everybody in the band loved it. Our engineer, Jay Walsh, was doing mixing and stuff for us. And Joe came out when we were near the done of all the recording, and we got it all ready. And he took it overseas to Germany and had the engineer that does the band, Rammstein. They actually ended up mixing and mastering that record for us, or mixing it. And we ended up getting John Skypes at the time to master it, who's done a lot of Manowar records and has done all three of my DSGs. And that was my way of coming out going, look, here's what I did with Manowar. Now really check me out. I shedded my skin like a snake and said, let me show you I can compete with some of the best of them out there. And that record put me on the map as a neoclassical shredder, where people are like, oh, he could do Yngwie this, Christian Pilatera that, whatever. I didn't do it for that. I did it to show my fans, this is how I really play. I can play anything. And it did well. Joey flew out his video company to do the video Ashes to Ashes and the song Calling All Heroes. After that time was when 9/11 happened. That was awful. And Tracy and I wrote a song about that Calling All Heroes, and a few songs on the record about that son of a bitch Bin Laden and all the shit he did. So that album did very well for us. And then we moved on and did Hellborn. And I was still with Joey, and that was, our Ashes came out through Nuclear Blast through Joey's label. Then when we did Hellborn, that was still through Joey, but on a different label. But he brought the band overseas to do the 2007 Magic Circle Fest, because just 2 years before that, we did the Manowar reunion 2005, where I came back there and crushed everybody and melted their faces. It was wonderful to play on stage with all of them again, with Ross, Carl, Rhino and Donnie and Scott and all that. That was the best. I mean, those videos are infamous and will live on forever in the hearts of Manowar fans and all of us. So the second record came out on July 10th, 2007. We released it at the Magic Circle Fest, and we have Bleeding Hell and Asylum God as we used for videos for the band from that. And then, things changed, and Joey was going through some changes in business. And my manager at the time, who still is, Johnny Pettigras, that has been with me since day one I stepped in the band. We've looked out for each other. We went to Pure Steel Records and put out this third DSG record, Still a Warrior, which did very well for us. And then I have done all during that time 29 guest solo CDs, 3 more coming out this year that I do best solos on, and played on other people's records. They played on mine, and moved on and did, Theodore record, Power of the Chosen One, when I got hooked up with them. Gus was a big Manowar freak, and Ross and I did a guest solo for them on We Are Heavy Metal with Tony Martin, that sang with Black Sabbath, a few other people. And, Gus had the idea to say, let's come on, bring you over, and let's do like 90% of the songs from Triumph of Steel. I came to Argentina, we did it, it was great. He said, would you like to join the band and write an album with us? I did. And, you know, I wrote from the 5 songs for Triumph, for Power of the Chosen One, with Sven Dionis, our singer, and with us. You know, we got it ready to release, and COVID hit, and we couldn't go tour. So we just put it out, and, you know, things change over time. And, you know, I ended up bringing a new singer into the band when Sven left, Michael Stark from Starburner, who's also singing for Kings of the New Kingdom with me and Rhino. And I'm doing the second Grave Rain record. Now, back to DSG. I am considering a 4th DSG record. A lot of my fans come to me and go, are you going to do a 4th one? And, you know, I'm considering it. But right now, I like playing with the people I'm playing with me and Tony, Gabriel, and Mickey for Grave Rain. Plus, I got Anton and Andreas in Wings of Destiny, which, if you know who they are, very progressive symphonic band that's like a Symphony X meets Rhapsody of Fire, a little bit of Dream Theater, and I'm sandwiched right in the middle of those guys. So we've got 6-7 songs already coming out with the record, and we're like over halfway done with the Kings of the New Kingdom record with me and Rhino writing together his songs, my songs, that I do all the guitars. He sings on one. We've got Sven Dionis singing on a track. Michael Stark is our main singer in the band. Rhino's got one of his guys singing. We'll be announcing the names. And we'll be putting that record out that the Manowar fans are waiting for. And we're like 5 songs in for the next Grave Rain, and that band will be playing out this year and probably getting some shows together. Definitely for Wings of Destiny in Costa Rica, Argentina, and what we're going to pull off with our manager for Kings of the Kingdom. It's just right now, get the music done, lyric videos, get it out with our people and the labels, and then see where we go with it from there. But yes, DSG is my heart and soul. It's my baby. It's what put my name on the map after Manowar. And there is a chance, because you got 3 records, Ashes to Ashes, Hellborn, Still a Warrior. That's an uneven number. I need a 4th one. So that's the best I can answer that question for you. Probably will do a 4th DSG record.
So nice to know it. Thank you, David. Vamos tentar traduzir.
Supposed to be a short answer, but that was the best I could do. I'm sorry. There's just so much to say, man, you know.
Don't worry. So many stories to tell. We have to talk.
Tinha que ter umas 3 lives, porque tem muita história.
I want to say one thing. If he's listening and still on here, I want to thank my buddy and new friend over the last year, Phil from Eternal House of Metal, that used to be Phil and Maria's House of Metal. He has been a brother. Besides a fan, he's a friend and a brother. And he, in the last year, has done so much Photoshop work for me for pictures of all of my guitars, from Viper, DS6, DS7, Fafnir, the DS8. We'll be working with the DS629. We spent like 3 weeks putting together my 5-minute musical documentary in a video of my life from Manowar and all the bands after Manowar that I'm into currently. He did a tremendous job. I could not have done it without him. And Phil, if you're watching, thank you. I love you, brother, very much that we met, and hope you stick by my side, my friend, because you deserve that, because he has been a tremendous help to me and introduced me to you guys. So this is good for me to hope do a guest solo with you guys and maybe come over and jam. So we owe all that to our brother Phil, our true brother Phil of Metal. Thank you, my brother, for always being there and helping me out. That's for you, Phil.
So I'll translate this first. Then I will translate your answer, okay?
Go right ahead.
Agradecer aí o nosso irmão Phil.
Okay. I'll go cook some steaks and then I'll come back and you might be done.
Probably. Agradecer aí ao nosso irmão Phil Simons, né? O cara que vem trabalhando junto com a gente aí, também veio trabalhando junto com o David nesses últimos anos, né? E o cara é sensacional, né? E apresentou a gente, né? Fez essa parceria ser possível, né? O The Cross junto com o David. Então, A gente deve muito ao Phil Simons, Phil e Maria. Olha eles comentando aí de novo. Grande abraço para vocês. Bom, agora traduzindo um pouco da primeira pergunta sobre o DSG, né? DSG. Em poucas palavras, o David disse que foi o que trouxe ele de volta para o mapa, né? Então, ele tinha acabado de sair do Manowar, então ele começou a trabalhar uma coisa que fosse dele para ele. Então, foi uma coisa que ele compôs pela própria vontade mesmo, né? De tocar aquilo que ele gosta de tocar, de provar para todo mundo que ele pode tocar o que ele quiser, não precisa sempre ficar parado da mesma forma, ele pode criar o que ele queria. Chamou os músicos que ele achou que seriam os melhores para aquele momento, e ele falou dos lançamentos, né,
Wings of Destiny, Red Ray
o Ashes of Ashes, que foi o primeiro, né? O Ashes of Ashes.
O
King
foi o primeiro
do DSG.
É o atual
Não, esse no caso são os lançamentos do DSG. Então teve o Ashes of Ashes, Ashes to Ashes, perdão, o primeiro. Depois teve o Hellborn e o Seal Warrior. São os 3 lançamentos. E o segundo, né, que foi o Hellborn, foi lançado pela Magic Circle, que é a gravadora do Joey Maia. Então o Joey sempre tá dando esse apoio, né? Um cara bem prestativo. Então ele disse também que está planejando um 4º álbum para o DSG, né? Que ele não gosta muito do número 3, então tá precisando de um 4º álbum aí para guardar um pouquinho mais essa discografia.
Eu vou. Aqui é o seguinte, eu vou ser bem sincero aqui, não é porque o David está aqui. Eu falo assim porque eu penso muito numa performance ao vivo de uma banda como o Manowar, como o próprio Iron, Saxon, essas bandas tradicionais de heavy metal que vendem seu show, que é o espetáculo, né? Que você está ali embaixo vendo assim. E o Ross tem aquela performance mais dele, né? Mais na dele, até nos primeiros vídeos, né? O Carl Logan deve ser completamente influenciado pelo David, principalmente ao vivo. A gente percebe isso. Diga ele que assim, eu não sei como é que se deu a saída, também não preciso dizer, não interessa como foi a quebra de contratos aqui, mas eu como fã, conheço o Manowar desde 1982, acompanho a carreira do Manowar, não afinco, né? Mas escuto, eu conheço tudo do Manowar, que eu ainda consigo ver, principalmente depois daquela apresentação do Magic Chico, que estava com todo mundo, com o Scott, com o Pino, com o Ross, com o Cal, todo mundo.
A reunião, sim, a tour de reunião.
Então eu achei que ali depois dali, eu achei que o David fosse voltar pro Manowar. Porque tava rolando já aquele problema com o Cal Logan. Eu achei que, o Rino, o David vai voltar. E eu acho, na minha opinião, como fã, como músico, que eu consigo ver o Manowar ainda com o David. Isso é minha opinião. Que seria muito bom para os fãs também. Não, claro, com certeza. Seria muito bom para os fãs, sem problema nenhum. Isso é o que eu penso. Transmita para ele aí.
Vamos lá.
Okay,
so,
good.
Eduardo said...
Sounded like you got all that in there, brother. And that was the short version.
So Eduardo has another question. So when he watched that reunion tour, the DVD, with you, with Reno, with Carl, everyone who played on that show, and he thought that you were going to come back to the band. He was like, I think David will come back to Manowar. I think Reno and David will come back. And he said that would be the best formation. And he asked if there is any possibility of this to happen again.
I would have to say no.
Oh,
there's been many opportunities. When we had the Manowar reunion, and Carl was in the band and Ross and all of us went, it was a good thing that we did that because, like Ross had said to me at the time, the unfortunate terrible thing that happened to Dimebag being shot and killed.
Yeah.
Joey and Ross had talked and words had went around, we should do a reunion with all the brothers that have been in Manowar everybody's getting older, life goes on, and God forbid something happens. This would be something that would be tremendous to the fans, and it was, but when that thing happened with Carl and he was, kicked out of the band, a lot of people, and again, have their opinions. People are entitled to them. Some people are right, some are wrong. Who cares? I look at it like Joey had many opportunities to ask me to come back. So a lot of fans wanted that for me and Rhino to come back. A lot of fans wanted Ross to come back and Donnie. But Joey has moved on, and then he figured, well, why not get somebody that was in a Manowar tribute band, whatever, to play these songs better than a fan that's in a Manowar tribute band with the drummer and the drummer came in. Then Carl was out, and I heard the drummer said, well, why don't we get our guitar player, EV? He knows the songs, and he came in. But, I've never met EV, and he's playing in Fëanor now. Okay, cool, whatever, that's all right. But he never was in the band long and never did an album with them, unfortunately. That's too bad because, he did some touring, and when I guess he played on the song Immortal, the original release, well, once he was ousted, they brought my buddy Badio in. They completely deleted all his guitar tracks and re-recorded it with him and the solo. So he never, to this date that I know of, unless I'm wrong, is on any actual studio record of the Manowar thing. So, it is what it is. And Joey just move on and do his things. And he doesn't really do the festivals where he brings other bands along with. Like when we did that in 2005 and 7, he had Holy Hell. His girlfriend at the time was the singer. Some friends of mine were in that band. Ryder was playing drums, Joe Stump, Tom Hess. And then things didn't go so well, it ended, whatever. But Joe doesn't do that anymore. They do what they do, and it is what it is. I can't speak for him. But, if he called me and said, Dave, would you love to come out and sit in on a couple of shows with us and play with the band, you, Michael, all of us? I certainly wouldn't say no. I'd say, hey, that'd be wonderful. It'd be great. There's no bad on my end. But, I don't see that happening. But if it did, and it was all in goodness and from the heart of true spirit, I would. I just don't see that happening. There's been talk. Would they ever do another Manowar reunion? Well, they just did one of those several months ago, and it wasn't a Manowar reunion. They just did another one of those festivals and had Viking people and a couple of other bands play, and that was it. If Joey wanted to do it, he would. I don't think he wants to. So I'm not speaking for him. If he did, I'd be happy to. He knows how to get a hold of me, and I know how to get a hold of him. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you, David. Let me try to translate everything.
Oh, you've been doing great. I'm with you, brother.
Oh, thank you.
I think I need to go flip the steaks.
Thank you. Vamos nessa. Bom, ele disse que realmente essa questão da reunião foi uma coisa muito épica, principalmente para os fãs, mas que atualmente ele não se vê tocando novamente com o Manowar, até porque teve essa oportunidade quando aconteceu toda aquela questão do Carl, né? E, enfim, não vamos falar sobre isso. E o Manowar decidiu chamar o baterista da banda, acho que é Kings of Steel, alguma coisa assim, que é uma banda tributo aqui do Brasil. Então foi um baterista brasileiro e foi o Evandro, né? Que é o Evandro Martel. Ficaram os dois brasileiros tocando com o Manowar durante um tempo. E acabou que o David não foi nessa oportunidade. Depois saiu o Evandro, saiu o baterista da banda tributo. E novamente muitos fãs insistindo para o David voltar, perguntando se ele iria voltar. E acabou que o Ângelo foi chamado, né? O Michael Ângelo. E ele está aí atualmente com o Manowar tocando. Mas que o David não recusaria uma nova reunião, né? Se chamasse, para ele seria tudo legal, mas que não é do Joey DeMaio fazer isso, né?
Eu sinto essa atmosfera.
Tem essa... Sim. Ele
Eu
disse que
sinto essa
o
atmosfera.
Joey tem essa questão de a gente tem que seguir em frente, porque o poder do metal é isso e acabou. Então
Não, assim,
ele.
mas você sabe que o Bruce Dickinson saiu do Iron, voltou. O Rob Halford saiu do Judas,
Sim, sim.
voltou. Né? O Kerry King falou que ia parar, acabou, voltou.
Outro
Então,
álbum.
eu acho que o business e as oportunidades, né, e pode acontecer, e quem ganha com isso são os fãs.
São os
E
fãs. Sim.
foi isso que me deu um estalo na cabeça. Mas, assim, seria maravilhoso pra gente, né? Daqui a um mês, 2 meses, um ano, assim, pô, vou fazer uma live que eu voltei pro Menor. Porra, caralho, puta que pariu. Seria bom demais. Ó, diga ele assim, pergunta ele aqui, fala um pouco sobre o molho picante, Hellfire, incluindo e também que agora ele faz o endorser, né, da Viper.
Sim, sim. Agora a gente vai um papo mais longo aí de 2 horas. Vamos nessa.
Problema não,
Vamos
já
lá.
dura.
Let me add, Daniel. Let me add.
Okay.
When I was brought into Manowar, I toured in almost every country 3 times with that band and seen a lot of wonderful things, met a lot of wonderful people, and got to talk about my playing, my training, education. And, I played with many great bands when we toured and got to show people my style of playing. And luckily, I'm alive and keep going and continue to show people what I'm doing after Manowar reunions and all my other records I've done are showing my style. And so thankful to have the Manowar fans stay with me on every journey I've been on. That really is what keeps that driving force going. And I love you for that.
Eu acho que ainda tem lenha para queimar o David com o Manowar. Você sente ainda que ainda não completou esse ciclo, na minha opinião.
Vamos ver. He said, I think there's so much fire to burn about David and Manowar. Let's wait.
I love the band. I love the guys. They gave me a wonderful opportunity, and I grabbed it with both hands because sometimes opportunity comes along and you got to grab it, and sometimes opportunity doesn't. And you got to take chances to move ahead. Believe in what you're doing. I never let anybody tell me I can't do this, do that. If they don't like it, that's fine. Get the fuck out of my face then. Go do your thing your way. I do mine. I don't give a shit. Where's your records? I've got 57 records out there. I'm on over 30, I'll be 34 guest CDs, 3 DSG records, Manowar records officials, over 400 videos, not all to mention all the bootleg stuff I'm on with Manowar. Not bragging, but where's all your records? So go do your thing and prove yourself. It is what it is. It's a tough business out there, and you can never, never give up. Believe in what you do, whether it's big or small. Don't worry about what the guy's doing down the street or this band's doing, or they're a little farther along than you. None of that matters. You have to focus on you, the people you love to play with, the band you're in, and be together as a well-oiled machine. Because if you're not, somebody's got to go and be replaced and keep moving forward. I saw a guy say this on Instagram that made a lot of sense. People come into your life, some of them, for only a season. They're not meant to be with you forever. Doesn't mean they're bad people. They're just there for a season and then they go because they're not going where I'm going or you're going. Like, for an example, look at the boosters that are on a big rocket spaceship. They count down and that booster rocket shoots that spaceship, the shuttle, up into outer space. And right before it gets there, what does it do? The booster rockets break off because they're done and they've done their job, because there ain't where or meant to go where that rocket's going. It don't mean they're bad people or they're not good people. It's just they ain't going where I'm going, and it is what it is. That's why some people come in for a season, some stay longer, and booster rockets only go so far to put that ship in space. And you got to look at things like that. No hard feelings to people. Things change, always do. Sometimes change is good, sometimes change is not good. You just got to roll with it. Amen.
Nice.
Now that's a good one to tell them.
Yeah. Bom, ele deu uma mensagem motivacional massa aí pra gente agora, né?
Eu entendi perfeitamente. O que eu não estou entendendo é que o público está todo, acho que está com receio.
I'm going to go make the salad now. The steaks are done while you're telling that one.
Pô, bati
Tá
até
bem?
no fone aqui. Eu bati até no fone aqui.
The message was too heavy that Eduardo let his cell phone to fall.
He's going to go cook too, right?
Bom, eu vou resumir a mensagem motivacional dele, né? Que é sobre essa questão de ele ter feito tantas coisas, né? Ter feito tantas gravações, trabalhado com tantas bandas, tanto com Manowar, tanto provado tudo que ele pode fazer com o DSG. Então, ele falou um pouco sobre essa questão da aceitação de críticas também, que, porra, uma pessoa vai falar mal do trabalho dele, ele pergunta, tá bom, cadê suas gravações, cadê seus discos? Eu tenho aqui minha carreira, tenho tudo consolidado, tenho tudo que eu fiz, mas por que você não faz o seu? Então, é uma coisa que a gente também leva no nosso trabalho aqui, essa questão de crítica no mundo da música é uma coisa muito tenebrosa, muito tóxica, né? Tem gente que está aqui só para
a gente aprendeu, e todo dia a gente aprende, e a gente aprendeu com o Paulo. A gente aprendeu com o Paulo, nosso guitarrista que está aqui.
Claro.
Que ele falou uma coisa que vale para todo mundo, que vale para a gente aqui, até poder, você transfere isso para ele aí. Paulo falou que uma opinião, uma crítica de uma pessoa medíocre só tem peso e tem ressonância para outras pessoas medíocres. Não tem relevância para a gente que for focada na música, que a gente vê a música, que a gente respeita a música. Então, essas pessoas passam e a música fica.
É isso. So, Eduardo was talking about something that Paulo, our other guitarist from the Cross, said some days ago, that bad words from bad people only will get to other bad people. It cannot have any influences of good people. It only will have influences to bad people. So that's it. That was what you were talking about too.
Right. You know, there's always going to be inner conflicts in bands, but you know, if you're true brothers and you all love each other and get along, there's nothing you can't work out. I've always been, if there's a problem, what is the problem? And let's work on fixing it right away so we can continue to move on with what we're doing. In most cases, that always works out like that. In some cases, it doesn't. You know, like with my DSG bands, every album I've had completely different band members behind me just because, you know, this next music was different than some of the members, or some members couldn't be involved anymore. Was never anything bad. It was all three records are in the same world, but they're all still very different. That shows a different side of my playing in slight variations. Like in Ashes to Ashes was all 6-string guitar. You know, we tuned a full step down, some drop C stuff, more keyboard stuff that was kind of more, people said, Ingve-ish, Deep Purple, Rainbowish. And then when Hellborn came out, that was all 7-string, still tuned down a full step, was a little heavier orchestral stuff, you know, different vocal style. And then Still a Warrior was a friend of mine I brought in to sing, and Gabriel Anthony on drums. That is in my Grave Rain band now with me and Tony. You know, was a different flavor, but they're all from the same refrigerator, DSG. They all just have a little bit of different sound to them. And the fourth one, you know, we'll see how that turns out, you know, when I start to do it. It could be a combination of all three or something slightly different, you know, if I live long enough to do that record. Plus, I've always wanted to do an instrumental record, but I've always had 3 or 4 bands I'm in, or touring, or this and that. So one of these days, I'm planning on, if I can, to do my instrumental record called, you know, Unleash the Dragon. I have the artwork for it already. I just have to write the album, you know, and I have all this music to show, from classical side of playing, classical guitar, hot country picking, some jazz, of course, the neo shredding and bluesy rock stuff, you know, just to do it for me and my dad and my mom, and to show my fans I can do this without one singer on any of the tracks. just to do it because I've always wanted to. So hopefully one day I'll do that. But, I get a lot of fans ask me about an instrumental record and another DSG record and what's happening with all the bands. I'm one person. I can only do so much at once. But those things are on my shoulder to consider to do, yes. If that's the best answer I can give you. And I will do them with my new Viper signature guitars.
We'll talk about it.
www.viperguitars.com. Yes.
So, you talked about Viper. So let's take this and talk about the Viper and your hot sauce, the Hellfire, right? So we want to know about it. Talk about the Viper, talk about the hot sauce. That's it.
Here is, camera's backwards. Can you see it? Hold on, let me go this way. There we go.
O cara faz pimenta, então.
There you go. So you got
aqui no Brasil a gente consome muito pimenta, que é bom pro coração.
There we go. There's that one. Full straight. This is the milder sauce. This one here. And the Shred Demon. That is the way hotter one. Thanks to my people at Hellfire Hot Sauce.
Shred Demon.
I met them. I was playing a festival when I was in a band with Tony, my singer in Grave Rain, a band called Veilside. We were doing a festival with Sebastian Bach, Queensryche, Dokken, Vixen, a few other bands, and I was on stage playing, and way off in the corner, there was like about 6,000 people or so at this outdoor place in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful hot day. And I saw this giant red truck that looked like it had this evil, like, demon mural on it. When we got done playing, I walked over there, and it was a Hellfire Hot Sauce truck. And I'm like, oh, wow, well, I like hot sauce. Let's go check this out. And Diana and, Jack, actually, he goes by several names. We started talking and chatting things out. And he was like, I want to get into doing some signature sauce. Well, I really didn't know a lot about hot sauce then. So I started talking to them, getting educated. And he was like, maybe we could do this. So some time went by and I was like, I don't know. And my manager, Johnny Pettigrass, said, look, let's reach out to these guys. It'll be good for you to do it. You like hot sauce. So I reached out to them. We got together. We picked the pictures and we did some prototypes and came up with, the full shred, which is the milder, beautiful dried tomatoes, sweet, spicy, mild jalapeno peppers, ghost peppers, but a lot of flavor in this because for me, hot sauce, and I know there's a lot of people that can eat way hotter than me. If I put it in my mouth and it's like, magma lava so hot as the sun, I can't enjoy the food and then I can't eat it. So this is the milder one that does well. So then we did some prototypes and came up with this one that's like 10 times hotter than that. And it's not their hottest one, but it's close to it. And that is Shred Demon. And you can get these through hellfirehotsauce.com. He does have some distributors that he's been working with in Argentina, I think, but he will ship, out of the country. And also any of my CDs from DSG to Grave Rain, I have some Feanor CDs and all the stuff we did with Veilside and our t-shirts and everything you can get from our website store from Grave Rain, graverainband.com. That's our website, and we have a store that people can go and order any of the CDs, hot sauce, t-shirts, that kind of stuff. But the big stuff overseas, people go directly to Hellfire Hot Sauce, and a little surprise, I've been talking to them. We're working on maybe a third bottle to come out later this year. They're the best people in the world. They have the coolest swag, the coolest design. I love them. Every time we get together, I take them out to dinner. They've got new barbecue sauce out. I got to try. I heard it's fantastic. And I'm glad to be with people that you get along with and they respect you, you respect them, and you have a great relationship. And we've been doing this for over 8 years now.
That's so nice, man.
Great. Yeah.
Let's translate the history of the pepper.
Yeah. You know, who knew
That's
I would
cool.
ever
That's
do
cool.
hot sauce, but I love it and it works. You know, it works and
That's
it's
so
cool.
nice. That's so nice. Also, I like the art of the
Oh,
of the
the
bottle.
logo stuff, you know. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really
your
cool.
picture there.
Here.
Man, that's nice.
So you can see. I
Love
know
it.
it's a little
Love it.
hard to
Botar na
kind of go
feijoada. Tá?
opposite direction, yeah. But it's cool,
Well,
you know. And then there's, you know, Viper, my buddy
let's
Jeff
talk about
Heitman,
it.
CEO of the company. We
Oh,
did you want to tell them first about the hot sauce and then we'll go into the
yeah,
Viper
yeah.
thing?
I'll
Okay, go ahead.
translate the story about the
I'll
sauce.
go
then
eat.
come back.
Hey, Daniel, I'll go eat the steak and the salad. Then when I come back, you'll be ready for me, right?
The steak. Wait, this steak. We have to get the hot sauce.
Yes, we
with the
will. When
steak.
I come, I will bring hot sauce. So we will have
Yeah.
hot sauce.
Bom, ele falou um pouquinho da marca de pimenta dele, né?
And when I do come over, we got to bring Phil.
Yeah.
It won't be complete if I don't have my buddy Phil with me. We got to bring him. You know,
Yeah.
we got to get him over there. If I got to drag him there, he's coming.
So nice. Bom, a gente falou um pouquinho dessa marca de pimenta dele, né? O Shred Demon. Momento do marketing da live. O cara, além de guitarrista, de ter tocado no Manowar, o cara também faz pimenta, então. E o nome também é bem subjetivo, né? Shred Demon. Tem que falar para ele que a gente tem que trazer as dessas para o Brasil para ver se é bom mesmo. Jogar no feijão, no acarajé.
Ó, é o seguinte. A gente vai ter que fazer outra live, não dá, é muita coisa.
Tem que falar da Viper, né? Tem que falar da Viper ainda.
Falar da Viper.
Com a gente, né?
Vai falar da Viper e o que ele espera, né? E tá junto com a gente no álbum de Doom Metal, né? E a gente arrastadão e ele.
Yeah. Doom sauce. Doom sauce.
Doom sauce.
Doom sauce.
When you eat the Doom sauce, you get sad.
Yeah, they have some, I believe, called Doom, and it will put you in Doom mode.
So, we now want to talk about the Viper. Please introduce us to the Viper guitars.
Viper guitars out of California. If everybody could see Jeff Heitman, if you're watching, we have been working on these guitars now. I think we've been together probably a little over 3.5 years. And, you know, he had reached out to me some time ago and I had been responding. He and I have been corresponding on guitars, and I had seen his stuff at NAMM and online. And some of my friends like Ronnie North and a few other people, you know, were Jimmy Bell, great guitar player, you know, was using some Viper guitars. He had a signature made. So Jeff and I, you know, were communicating online, and we got on the phone and talked. And I said, send me out this guitar, this one, and that one. Let me check them out. And I said, you know, if we do this, I've been with many other companies that have built me signature guitars. I just don't go buy a guitar and play a guitar. My stuff is built from the ground up for me. And I told Jeff, you have never, and if he's watching, he knows this, you have never built a shred machine till you built mine, brother. And I saw some of his guitars, his bodies, and I said, let's design this from the ground up. And we came up with 2 different headstocks. I took the pointy arrow one for the DS6 because that was my design when I was with other companies, and I had a 29 fret Flying V made back when I was with ESP a long time ago. And I used when we wanted to do the 7-string, he came up with a couple of different designs for the headstock, and then I picked the one I like. And then when we were looking at some of the bodies he said, I said, I like a super cutaway. So, you know, whether it's bolt on or not, I cannot have the big brick at the heel. So he came up with a nice ski slope kind of joint where as you slide up on the neck, it just molds right into the body and do that deep cutaway. So when you're playing the 6-string or 7-string or 8-string, this part of your hand, there's so much cutaway, and it's all mahogany, ebony fretboard, locking tuning keys, strictly EMG pickups locking guitar drag, Kaler tremolo custom made, and my David Shankle shred custom vibrato bars. But I do use a Floyd Rose clamping nut because I really like them. But my tremolo is Kaler with special springs in it for how I like it to use. And we did the body design, which was mostly mine, based off of something he had, and I kind of really shaped it. And then, we went from your standard 12 radius to a 14, so you could get it the neck a little flatter with the frets that I like that are custom made. Last 4 frets are scalloped. On the 29 fret guitars, the last 9 frets are scalloped because I like that pocket when you slide up to really grab. I've had those guitars like that since I was in Vengeance, the last 4 frets scalloped. And we put some prototypes together, the first 2, and then we made some adjustments. And then we had the DS6 with the see-through quilted black top. Then we did the custom Fafnir, the Dragon, the DS7, because the first Grave Rain record, we did a song called On the Wings of Fafnir, which is just a story tell of a blue dragon that spits blue mist at you, not flame. And if it touches you, you'll turn into a dragon. And the only way you can kill it, keep it dormant, is by a sword in its heart, but the sword has to stay in. And I'm like, this is a good story. We'll do that. And then Tony and I started going and looking for pictures, and I found the one online, and I bought the rights to it so I could own it, put it on T-shirts, underwears, panties, I don't care. And I had it put on my 7-string by the wonderful artwork of Bo Pittman out of Alabama that does race cars, motorcycles, and we're working on getting another Dragon made. And so we did that. Then we did the 8-string guitar, which is like a battleship kind of gray with some metal flake in it. And so it's pretty cool. And on the 8-string, that's different than most guys, is in Grave Rain and DSG, and I said this to Daniel earlier, I tune a full step down. So I don't need an 8-string guitar that's got a lower, like if it was an F sharp and tune that all the way down, I'll be in mud level. I don't need that. So I tune my 8-string guitar. So what that low you think is a low 8-string is really the 7-string. And when you get up to the high E string, my next high string is the high A. So I can get all the way up higher in that violin range for shredding and still go all the way down low in the cello range. So that's how I string my 8-string. And we'll eventually get another one of that. But the new monster that's out is the DS6 29 fret. I had showed Daniel earlier. It's a 3-octave guitar, A, super cutaway, all pearl black with metal flake in it. Jeff did a tremendous job on showing how much of a master he is at building and getting the paint job and the neck and the feel in. And also on the first couple of prototypes, as we did the first 3 guitars, my buddy RD, Robert Daniels from Third Coast, and Chris Evie that owns it have been with me 30 years. And every guitar company I've been with, from ESP, Dean, Chord Guitars, Grossman Guitars, all these master builders, it goes to RD and he finds everything that's wrong with it, and his hands are the last one that touches them, that turns them into the shred machine. And we were giving Jeff tips on stuff on how to get a little deeper under the hood, and Jeff got it. He nailed it. And we'll see where we go. I may do a 29 fret 7-string. I've sold quite a few of my guitars, and hopefully we'll sell more. But if people buy them, guys, great. If they don't, they're built for me. 7-string, signature guitars don't always sell to a lot of people. I mean, I know Steve Vai sells a lot, John Produce, Eddie Van Halen. Those guys have sold a lot of the guitars, and other people sell some. But, to have a signature guitar with a professional quality company, what's important is the relationship, how well I get along with Jeff. That's why you see other guys, they're with this amp company, then that company. I've been with Fractal Audio for 15 years. I would never plug into anything else. I'm an Ernie Ball guitar string before I was even in Manowar. Kaler tremolo when I was in Manowar, from Floyd Rose to Kalers, because I like them, nothing wrong with Floyd. And, that's the stuff I like, and what works for me, and what works for other people is great. It's all how you play, what you like, and when you can get a company that can build you your guitar, you get everything as close to exactly what you want from the ground up, and that's how I roll. And I'm comfortable at home with Viper, and it's not always so much. If I like gear and I'm not endorsing them, I'm happy to buy it. But when you're endorsing a company, it's not always just what the company can do for you, what you can do for the company, and the relationship you have with your artist people and the owner of the companies that have a lot to do with keeping you there and professional. And Jeff and I, we just clicked right off the bat, and we're doing a great job, and I'm happy to be with him and me be there, and some of the other wonderful artists that they have. We will continue to build more Dave Shankle guitars. Hail and shred.
So nice.
Viper. Right?
Muita história para contar, como diz
Viper
o André Luiz, muita
shred
história.
with the sauce. Viper shred sauce.
A gente vai ter que fazer outra live com ele quando a gente começar a gravar com ele.
Right.
Já vou fazer o convite.
Não, fala. Traduz aí.
Pode fazer o convite? Pronto, vou trazer primeiro, ele falou um pouco da Viper Guitars, né? Sobre esse patrocínio que ele tem, já tem alguns anos, e falou também da guitarra signature dele, né? Que é uma guitarra de 29 casas, né? É uma coisa absurda.
Ele já falou que para tocar Ele já falou que para tocar Doom, eu vi aqui, a guitarra de 8 cordas é maravilha, viu? Pode pensar nisso aí.
Ele tem de 7, de 8, tem a guitarra com 29 casas, que é um negócio absurdo que ele mostrou mais cedo. Estou quase pedindo um de presente. Mas, enfim, ele falou sobre essa questão da parceria, né, com essas empresas.
Daniel, if people want to see these guitars, you can go on my Facebook page, and I have an album for each one of the guitars, and on the Viper guitar site, www.viperguitar.com. 2 of them are up there. The other 2 will go up. And on Jeff Heitman's page, which is connected to Viper, I'm posting pictures on the stuff all the time. The wonderful pictures that Phil did and photoshopped and helped create my new DS Diamond logo. That was mine and Phil's idea. So I'm always putting them out there because, promotion is everything too, So, and I'm proud to show those guitars, and they play phenomenally, and they're built for speed for me, man.
That's nice. Thank you.
Yes.
So, bom, se vocês quiserem também ver essas guitarras que ele falou, tem tudo na página dele do Facebook, né? Ou no site da Viper, né? viperguitar.com. Então você pode pesquisar e dar uma olhada, quem se interessou.
Eu vou colocar
essas monstruosidades que ele criou.
Eu vou colocar o link da Viper na live aqui também na descrição. Eu coloquei todos os links dele, mas vou colocar o.
We have in the description of the live, after we take it to YouTube, we put your links of your profile, the links for Viper, everything.
Todos os deles eu já coloquei. Vou colocar o da Viper.
Okay, tá bom.
Well, Daniel, what I will do, Daniel, when you need it, I will send you. I have a whole brand new bio that was done between me, my sister, and my manager, and it's got all the links to all my social medias, and I can send that to like your email, so it will all be hyperlink. If you get me your email to me, and then I can send that to you. So when you go post it in the video, the links will be there. But I did want to mention to people, that came on and stayed on. One thing we left out, I run a music school, Shankle's Music, okay? And I have been teaching professionally for 35 years in person and online all over the world. And I don't care if you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced. You do not have to just be a rock guy to approach me or a shredder. You want to learn country music, Merle Haggard, you're a complete beginner and need to know exercises, pentatonics, scales, modes, the understanding of chords, and developing leads in music theory. Reach out to me on my inbox on social media. Send me a message. You can email me at Dave_Shankle@yahoo.com if you're interested in online lessons over Skypes. This is what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 35 years and it works well for me. And I love to teach and help people on their journey to begin guitar. So, that's what I do if anybody's interested out there, and keep an eye out on what's going on, because I'm going to be playing out this year with Grave Rain, Kings of the New Kingdom. We're gearing up with Wings of Destiny. That's in Costa Rica. I got my fly rig together with the Fractal Audio FM9. I'm an FX3 guy. It's just play, man, and just love what you do, and I appreciate you guys having me on here. And if you're going to have me do a guest solo with you guys, I'm happy to do it, and hope maybe one day I can come over this year, next year, and jam with you guys, man, and see some of my Brazilian fans,
So
right?
I'll just translate this last one about your class, and we'll come back to talk about it, okay?
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Let's go. Bom, ele falou também que a questão das aulas de música, ele é professor de música há mais de 35 anos, né? Então, caso alguém tenha interesse de fazer aula de guitarra com o David Shankle, só mandar mensagem para ele, conversar direitinho, e você pode ter um guitarrista também no como seu professor. Então,
Só isso,
tá aí o marketing, né? Agora vamos para a nossa última pergunta, né? A finalizar nossa live.
Bora finalizar, você vai falar para ele que assim, que as lives sempre tem 1 hora, já tem 1h15 para não se estender.
Sim.
Eu vou fazer a última pergunta e você já convida ele para outra live, porque é muita coisa. É muita coisa. Nós estamos em fevereiro, eu diria que é junho, após a gente gravar o tributo do Saturno, a gente chama ele. Ou se ele tiver lançando alguma coisa, fala com a gente que a gente vai e faz a live. Agradecer demais. É um livro de 800 páginas. Acho que a primeira edição é só 800 páginas, tem muito mais aí. É um gentleman. Tem a escola mesmo do Joy, né? Sabe vender mesmo. Até o cara que não curte metal passa a curtir metal só em ouvir conversar com o David. Não tem jeito. O cara fica tão emocionado, fica tão aficionado que não, eu tenho que ouvir heavy metal. Ele tem esse poder, porque o Manowar é instituição, né? Tem esse poder. Agradecer demais a ele aqui, a presença. Como sempre, é uma aula, né? A gente é muito privilegiado de ter um cara desse aí, né? Para conversar com a gente, para deixar mensagens, né? Para as pessoas crescerem como músico ou como pessoas. E diga ele que a gente está honrado demais em ter ele, né, com a gente no novo disco do The Cross, e que dessa vez ele não vai tocar rápido, não, ele vai tocar lento.
Beleza, vou passar essa mensagem para ele. So, we want to thank you a lot for this opportunity to be here with us. And also, we want to talk about your expectations with our new work, our new album with The Cross. And also, Eduardo make a joke that we'll have to play a little, slow, because it's Doom.
That's okay.
And he asked if you were sad with it.
I can do that to play Doom. I love the music. I think you guys are tremendous. I think everybody in the band is top notch. You guys write kick-ass stuff. I've never been in a Doom band, but I like the music from bands that do it well. I won't mention other names, but I love what you guys do, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Or I wouldn't. I get asked to play guest solos or be in other bands all the time around the world, but I don't do it because it's not about necessarily money. It's about I gotta really like the music and what is going on, and it doesn't mean everybody's bad, but I gotta sit back and look at it and go, will I really fit into this? Will this work for me? And when Phil turned me on to you guys, I was like, wow. These guys are really tremendous. I like what's going on. And then, checking out the social media, and I'm like, this will be perfect. These guys tuned down, deaf tuning. I love it. And, I can play anything. So, like when I get the track from you guys, I already know your tuning, where you want me to start, where you want me to end. I soak the music in and I listen to what is the rhythm telling me to play? What is the song about? what is the song saying for the type of solo I need to put there so I can bring the best that I can for my little part that I'm being asked to do. And like I said, I've done 29 of them and I'm on to 34 of them now and more that'll be out this year. I do it all the time and I love to do it in every different tuning you can imagine. So I'm happy to get involved with you guys. I think you're a great band and a great bunch of guys too.
Thank you, man. Thank you a lot for
it. Como é que não bebe depois da porra dessa?
You better do it because my birthday's coming up March 7th.
March 7th, yeah.
My good buddy Paulie Z that had a band called Z-Rock, Z02. They had a TV show years ago called Z-Rock out of New York. Anybody that was anybody from Dee Snider and famous comedians were on that show, and they were Manowar fans, and their brother David Z, who sadly is no longer with us. Every year they do a foundation to raise for the David Z Foundation for music to give schools that don't have enough money to buy equipment for children to learn. And he goes all over the world and he's a Skype teacher. Well, he reached out to me last week and it's his birthday on the 11th of March. Mine's the 7th. So my sister and I are flying out there at a club 89 North in Long Island. And I'm going to play. And several other artists are coming. I can't mention their name, but I'm going to do my instrumental piece, Etude, with backing tracks at war fucking volume. And then his band's going to come out and we're going to do Ride the Dragon and Hail and Kill because he's a Manowar freak. And we're going to do the versions from the record. The whole thing will be videoed. And I'm excited to do it for his birthday and mine and have a great time. It's going to be open to the public. And it's all proceeds go for the foundation for David Z, Paulie Z Music Foundation, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's so
I
nice,
just
man.
wanted to put that plug because it's for so many good things.
I'll translate this.
If you're watching, that was for you, buddy, and David. God rest your soul, Dave. We love you, man.
Bom, ele falou também sobre essa questão de estar com a gente, né? Participando desse álbum. Ele disse que desde o primeiro contato com o The Cross, né, que o filme apresentou a banda para ele, ele falou, porra, esses caras são... eles tocam uma afinação mais abaixo, os vídeos são impactantes, então isso vai ser perfeito, eu quero tocar com eles, quero ter essa oportunidade. E ele agradeceu esse convite também, nosso, e falou também que o aniversário dele vai ser no dia 7 de março, né, daqui a 3 semanas, e que eles vão fazer um evento aberto ao público, que vai ter uma campanha para a criação de fundos de uma organização que ajuda crianças a estudarem música, né? Que não tem dinheiro para comprar equipamento, então todos esses fundos vão ser revertidos para essa organização. Então,
manda ele mandar os vídeos para a gente divulgar aqui, viu?
Pronto, vou pedir ele. E eu acho que é isso, né? Agradecer a presença de todo mundo que está aqui.
Diga a ele que
assistiu.
Muito obrigado novamente, que eu me sinto...
eu não fiz o convite, antes eu vou fazer o convite para ele.
Faz aí.
So, David, the last thing I want to tell you, we have another invite to you for a new live in July, I think June or July, while we are recording the album. Maybe until there, you will have any other release with SG or your other bands. So we want to invite you for another live in June or July. Are you with us?
That would be wonderful, brothers. You're inviting me to come back on. So maybe I could tell shorter stories, right?
That's okay.
Shorter stories, right? Or I'll just bring the grill right down here or go outside and I'll make food for all of us. We'll get Phil on here too. We'll feed him too. Brothers,
with sauce.
With again, yes, please, everybody, with the sauce. Get you the hot sauce. Self-promotion, okay, whatever. Viper.
That's nice.
What it is, man. Yes, I would be happy to. And by July, I will have more updates on what records are done or almost done, and the labels they'll be coming out with, and lyric videos and stuff like that, and the whole 9 yards, But at some point, I don't know what your guys' plans are. We could talk about it later. We make no promises to the fans that are watching. But at some point, I've been to Argentina many a times. And when I toured with Fëanor the first time, we went to Brazil and did like 4 or 5 shows. So wherever you guys are exactly at, I'd love to come over there where it makes sense to play 2, 3, 4 shows and hang out and jam after I do the guest solo and sit in on a couple of songs and hang out and meet the people and have a good time. That would be a lot of fun. If all the stars line up for that to happen, that would be cool. But I'm happy to come on and do another interview and do an update when you guys have the spot open. You know how to reach out to me. Thank you. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you a lot, David. E obrigado a todos que nos assistiram, estão aqui acompanhando, né, dando essa força pra gente sempre. E é isso aí. Tivemos a honra de estar com esse cara aí, o David Shankle, que é uma das minhas inspirações, né? Como guitarrista, desde molequinho ouvindo Manowar. Então,
é um exemplo
é uma honra gigantesca aqui.
Vencer através da música, então é exemplo a ser seguido. Thank you, David. I love you, man.
Thank you. I love
you
guys,
brother.
Man. I'm glad we got to do this. It was well worth the wait. I hope all the fans enjoyed it and that you got a wealth of knowledge from me on what I'm doing, what I'm all about, because you can leave them with this, okay? There's one thing about me that has worked my whole life, and you can call it ego, whatever you want, but I stand by what I do, and that's the 3 A's: attitude, aggressiveness, and appearance. And it has worked for me my whole life, and I will continue to do it until I can't do it no more. Thank you for having me, guys. Hail and kill to all the Manowar fans.
Hail and kill, brother.
To working with you guys this year.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Obrigado, galera.
Have a good night, man. Thank you a lot. Obrigado a todos que nos assistiram.
I'll wait to hear from you on everything, and we'll go from there. Thank you, my friends. I had a wonderful time, and love you all, my friends and fans.
Love you, man. See
Thank you, man.
See ya.
Tchau, tchau, Daniel.
Thank you.
Power and might. Power and might.
Power and might.